It's exciting times. You have a new PC or a fresh installation of Windows and you're ready to crack your knuckles and get started coding. But what is the right environment to coding? Are you going to use PowerShell because you're a PowerShell expert? I've tried a lot of different environments for coding, including virtualization with VirtualBox and various different distros. And you know what they say about opinions and how everybody has them and they all stink? Well, I'm going to offer you my opinion on what I think is my favorite development environment. And stick with me as I go ahead and show you how to install WSL inside of Windows 11 and use that along with VS Code for a coding environment. So on screen, you can see, there it is. Now you can see that I've got instructions pulled up from officially Microsoft, right, on how to set up a WSL development environment. And I'm doing this, as you can tell, warts and all, no edits, just going to go ahead and record this process for you here. So I have a fresh installation of Windows 11 Pro. And as you can see here, it does tell you that you need to have a relatively recent build, a number that's greater than 20262. So if you've got that, you should be able to run this very simple PowerShell command. And I have yet to even run that. And let's go ahead and type in terminal. And I'm going to bring that on screen over here for you. So here we're inside of terminal. We've got PowerShell pulled up and all we have to type is WSL -- install. And it's going to prompt me. You can't see this right now. It doesn't record this stuff. It's asking, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? I'm going to hit yes. The installation is continuing. All right, so the operation has been successful. And now at this point, I'm going to have to reboot the system. And so I'm going to need to record a new video file. I will see you after the reboot. Okay, welcome back, my friends. The installation, the reboot has finished. And you'll notice that my screen's got some gobbledygook on it. That's because, you know, I made some mistakes. I hit the wrong keys. Things got paused. Videos got stopped. And we're back. I had to reinstall Ubuntu because I wanted you to see all of these screens as well. So if you're not like me and didn't make those mistakes and because you're not recording this for anyone, you'd get a screen that says enter new Unix username. So all you have to do is do that. And so I've got my username that I'm putting in here. I hit enter. It's then going to ask for a password. And this is where I made my mistake. I used my number pad, which terminated the video. So you just confirm your password, go ahead, hit enter. It's going to say installation successful, and it's going to drop you into your Linux distribution, as it says here. In this case, it's Ubuntu 22.04.3, the LTS version. And so we're in a bash experience right now, and we're going to change over to ZSH. But if you're familiar with Ubuntu, right, you'll know, and that's probably one of the reasons why you're using WSL, right, is to get the Linux commands that you may be more familiar with. But before we do that, let's take a little time to set up our Windows terminal. So I'm in Windows terminal, obviously. I'm going to come up here and go back to settings. And I want to change my default profile here from PowerShell over to Ubuntu. And I'm going to come down and customize the font size to hopefully make that more legible for everyone here. And I want to have, oh good, my font size is set to 18. I'm going to make sure that's saved. And now when I click on this plus icon to open up a new terminal instance, that should be, I'm going to exit out of this one, exit, right? And I'm going to click that plus sign, and now we're in our Ubuntu instance. And it comes pre-configured, at least it's been my experience, it comes pre-configured with some aliases. So if I just type LL, that's going to give me everything that's in my root user directory here. So that's great. We've got Linux running in Windows, and for many of you, that's a magical experience. For me, it's still magical. All right, so let's go ahead and update our packages. You can see now I've got on screen here the next step in the WSL manual here. We've got update and upgrade packages. So you could, of course, just go ahead and copy this. Come back here and paste it in and hit enter. It's going to prompt you for your password, and I'm going to remember not to use my number pad. Thank you very much. Excellent. Do I want to do that? I sure do want to upgrade those packages. Thank you very much. All right, next one, what we're going to do is we're going to install the Z shell. So we're going to do sudo apt install zsh and hit enter. Yes, I want to do that. And then we're going to install ohmyzsh. So if you just go ahead and Google, Bing, whatever your favorite search engine is, you'll get to the ohmyz.sh and you can install it. Apparently the batteries are included. Yuck, yuck, yuck. So over here is how you install it via curl. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, Control C, and I'm going to come back to my terminal. And of course we want to make sure that we have curl. So I'm going to say which curl. Curl is installed, which that means I can just go ahead and paste that in and install it. It's going to ask me if I want to change my default shell. You don't have to do that, but I do want to do that. So I'm going to hit yes and hit enter. It's going to ask me once again for my super user password. I'm putting that in, and here we are. Great progress. So we've got the Z shell and ohmyzsh installed. And we're going to pick up what it says next, of course, in this manual is to do all the fun things to make your Windows terminal look all nice. And you can certainly follow those steps. It looks like the next thing we're going to do is install Visual Studio Code. There are many ways in which you could install Visual Studio Code. You can go to their website and download the installer. I prefer to use the Windows Store. And again, we're back to the opinions. People are going to have them, and I'm going to take a phone call. Okay, phone call over, and we're back and installing VS Code. So I've launched the Microsoft Store, and I'm just going to go up here and type in VS Code. Visual Studio Code shows up, so I'm going to go ahead and give that a click. And I'm going to go ahead and install that. That's downloading and installing. Super duper. I might need to take action in another window, it's saying. Boy, I'm not seeing that action. All right, and we're back. The VS Code has finished installing, so I'm going to click over here and type in VS Code, Visual Studio Code, and I can go ahead and launch that app. If you were wondering, you saw me click that 3 times. I got 3 windows. Yep. So here is VS Code. It's going to ask you to choose your color theme. You can go with any of these. You can support all your languages, etc. You can follow all of these steps. However, I'm not going to. I'm going to go ahead and go over to this menu here where it says accounts. And I'm going to go and choose to backup and sync settings. I'm going to click on sign in. And I'm going to sign in with GitHub. I'm going to put my information in over here. And I'm going to use my GitHub mobile to authenticate. There we go. Put in that. And we're going to go back to VS Code. And the beauty of doing that, having your settings sync, is if you're like me and you annually, semi-annually, or maybe even more, reinstall Windows because you just, that's what you do. You can get all of my color scheme just changed. You might have seen that. It's going to pull in a whole bunch of all of the extensions that I use as well will come with it. So let's go ahead and close that and click on extensions. You can see all of these installed extensions thanks to the settings sync in VS Code. So we've got quick recap. We've got WSL, we've got Ubuntu, we've got Z Shell and Oh My ZSH, and we've got VS Code. And really, the next step is going to be setting up our Git and GitHub. So stay tuned. We're going to get to that in just a moment. Hey, we're back and it's time to set up Git. So I've got this pulled up here, get started using Git on Windows subsystem for Linux. And I'm going to backspace there. And we can see here that you're going to check your Git version. They give you the commands for that, Git space -- version. That is installed by default here. We have Git installed, and then the next thing you're going to do, here's the command if you didn't have it installed, you're going to set up the global config for your user.name and user.email. I've already done the email, so I can not have to worry about keeping that private, but we can do git config -- global user.name and type in Anil Mastriani. You type in your name, please. And go ahead and hit enter. And you can do the same thing here for git config, put in your email. And I'm skipping this credential manager setup, but should you want to follow those instructions, you can. And then we move on to getting GitHub set up with SSH here. So you can go ahead and click that. And we're going to use generating a new SSH key. Even though I already have one, I'm going to generate a new one. And over here in your GitHub, if you come to your profile and you go to settings, and then on the left-hand side, go to SSH and GPG keys. If you have any keys here, you can use your keys. I'm going to delete this one and start over again. So I'm going to go back to Windows Terminal. I'm going to go back to this guide that they have for generating a new SSH key. And you should be able to go ahead and follow these commands here. SSH-keygen, you're going to use this type. I'm not going to do this on camera, so I don't have to worry about masking out my email address, but you'll follow these commands. You're going to generate the public and private keys. I do not use a passphrase, so I just hit enter twice for that. And then you follow these. Here are instructions if you're using PowerShell. And so what you want to do, and I missed this one here for you, is we're using Linux, right? So switch from Windows up here to Linux, and you'll get your commands here for starting and adding. You're starting the agent and adding it to the agent here, your public keys, private keys, etc. All right. So once that's done, you're going to end up taking your public key, coming back to GitHub, choosing new SSH key. You can call it whatever you want. I usually add the date in there so I know when I did it. And then you're going to paste in your public key here and choose add SSH key. Your private key will remain private on your computer. Again, I'm not filming that, but I am going to go ahead and pause this and do these steps. Okay, we're back, and I've got my command that I use to print out on screen my public key. And I put that into GitHub. So we are good to go there. One thing I wanted to call your attention to is once we switched over to the Z shell, I'm going to just clear this. Control L, by the way, will clear your screen. If you were to type LL in Z shell, you're not going to get anything because there's no alias for that. So I'm going to vim into the home directory here for me, and I'm going to go into ZSHRC, SHRC, and then I can go down to the bottom of this file, And by the way, you saw the theme there, right? So I can go ahead and enter, hit O to get myself a new line there. And I'm going to put alias, and I'm going to put LL equals LS, nope, LS dash ALF. Right? There we go, ALF, for those of you that are children of the 80s. All right, so you're going to go ahead and hit escape, colon, right, and there it is. So now I should be able to LL. Oh, I may have to restart the terminal on that one. So let's go ahead and exit on this one. Open up the terminal and see if that alias is active again. LL. There it is. Excellent. So you can go ahead, and I should bring that back up, by the way, and see here that if you wanted to change your theme, that's going to be up here. The default theme is Robbie Russell. You may prefer Agnoster or whatever it is. You would just change that here. And of course, you would have to use the nerd fonts in order to get those to work as well. So next step is going to be installing Node Version Manager, NVM. See you in just a moment. All right, we're back, and I've got a guide pulled up here again from Microsoft installing Node.js on WSL. And conveniently, this is where I come to. I don't memorize these instructions, as you can tell, right? So I come over here and I'm going to copy this command to install NVM. Copying that, heading back to the terminal, and I'm going to paste that in and hit enter. There we are. And I can go ahead and copy this as well. Paste that in there, hit enter. Bingo. Now I should be able to use NVM. Otherwise, if you didn't do that, you just have to close the terminal and open it back up again. So I should be able to go ahead and follow the next commands here. We want to go to NVM ls is what they're saying. NVM ls. There we are. See, we got that working. What I want to do is install the LTS version of Node. So we're going to do NVM install --LTS. Excellent. So anytime you need to switch versions, you can install them and then make that the active version of Node if you needed to go ahead and do that. But I find sticking with the LTS is what works for me. So we already have Visual Studio Code installed here as well. And so I'm going to switch over real fast because I don't just use Node, I also use bun. So what is it? Bun.sh. I'm going to get that wrong. Bun install. We'll just go for that one. And here it is. Bun.sh. I was right. Yes. Okay. So we want to install bun. And we're going to do that here. Bun. Copy that. See what it's. How about we can get back to the terminal? That'd be great. Thanks. Oh, we need unzip. Look at that. So we're going to do sudo super user do apt install unzip. It's going to prompt us for our password. Put that in. All right. We should be able to go back and install bun again here. We can go ahead and copy this so we don't have to, and paste that in so we don't have to. Okay. So it. Interesting. Bun help. There it is. Excellent. So we've got bun installed as well. If you wanted to play with bun instead of Node, I use bun primarily with the projects that I do as well. So I'm going to go ahead and say we have our development environment mostly set up. And now at this point, you know, I like to develop with Next.js and Prismic as a CMS for that. And so I would go ahead and install things like the Prismic CLI. And I would usually do that with bun. So let's go ahead and attempt that here and give it a whirl. Install global. I think it is global install. I think we just saw that, right? Didn't we? Bun install, bun global install. Is that in here? Global. Button install -- global. We're going to do Prismic CLI. All right, I got a whole bunch of errors there. Let's see if that works. Prismic, who am I? Not logged in. Perfect. So the Prismic CLI is in there, so I could go ahead and log in to Prismic, get access to all my repos. If you're not sure what Prismic is, it's definitely something I'm going to be covering more of. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching as I covered how I set up my environment. If I missed anything, there'll be follow-ups. Thank you.